Nature's wealth, good for your health. This is the Raw Life Health Show.
Hello everybody, it's Paul Neeson with the Raw Life Health Show. And I'm in Melbourne, Australia, and I'm so excited about this video because I've always had my dream house in my dreams. Well, I'm standing in it right now. My friends Alan and Janet, who I know from Canada, they used to have a place called Zero up there, and they had a wonderful big house up there. Well, they live in Melbourne now, and they invited me to stay at their place here in Melbourne, and I pull up to the driveway, and it was this huge big house. And I said, wow, that's pretty big. And they go, yeah, but that's our sons. We're staying in this house, and this is your guest house. And this is my dream house. You know, me and Andrea are into simplicity, and we're looking to simplify our lives even more. And I say one of the keys to poor health is stress. And the more you have, the more stressful you are. The less you have, if you just have the essentials and you're happy with them, it reduces so much stress. Health is more than just food alone. So we have to simplify our lives. Years ago, I read a book by a lady named Peace Pilgrim called Step Towards Inner Peace. And she said it quite well. The more you have, you don't own your stuff starts to own you. And that's what happens. People worry so much about all their stuff. So simplifying it and keeping it as little as possible. And the other passion I have is living self-sustainability and not worrying about, you know, where I'm going to get my water, where I'm going to get my electricity, and just reusing and recycling the resources that I am using, so I'm not, you know, causing any damage to the environment, and I'm also just, you know, conserving everything as much as possible, because I believe in conserving, you know, everything from my budget all the way to my resources. And so I'm going to show you around this little house here, and you can get a great idea, because this house is about 380 square feet. Now, I just saw a website of a fellow in the United States who builds small houses, and he was just on the cover of Parade magazine, which is inserted in many newspapers around the world, around the United States. But 380 square feet, and I am convinced if Andrea was here with me, and I will bring her back here, she would be totally satisfied and happy with this place. Yes, quality is important. You don't want to live in a low quality in a place with low quality materials and everything else, but if you have high quality materials, I'm going to show you now how comfortable it can be, and also how to use and conserve the resources. Alright, here, so and here's Alan. Alan's the one, here's Alan who owns this place, and Alan was telling us that, you know, technically you need special permits and everything, even by the government here in Australia, right?
Yep.
Okay. But this is really a garage. So you know, they're not really looking at it as a house, so he was able to easily get by with these. Now, we're going to look around the house, Alan, but before we look around, is there anything you want to say?
No, we're just happy to have you here, Paul, and just to share our little house with you.
Okay, now, what gave you the idea just to have just such a little place, but so wise in your building it, of just the recycling of the materials and just everything else? What gave you that idea?
Well, this started off to be a house, a garage that we could use while we built our main house. But to be quite honest, we're so happy in here now that the main house may never get built. Wonderful,
wonderful. Well, let's take a look. When you first walk in the house, right here, there's a little kitchen here. And in this little kitchen, and you see, there's no cabinets up above. It's all shelves, so you don't have to throw anything in cabinets and look for things in cabinets. It's all shelves with bottles. It's a great idea, way to conserve nuts and stuff. And if you're worried about your vitamins or something, you know, in the bottles, you could just get darker bottles and things like this. But so that's a great little shelving system. See, when you have overhead cabinets, it takes up a lot of space. And not only do you usually throw junk in there and you have stuff going, expiring, out of date and everything else, but you also see in there, you know, it just takes up more space. Coming down to the kitchen here, and the kitchen here, it's just your basic sink, a small sink, and I have a bowl in there with some dishes soaking to clean. But under the sink, there's no tubing. There's just a blank pipe that just goes right into a big bucket. And it takes about 1 to 2 days to fill up this whole bucket. And then they just take that bucket out and they just pour it on their garden. So that's one way to conserve the water. What they're going to do in the future is they're just going to have this little pipe just go down into the garden directly, so so they won't have to bring the bucket out. But even this way is just so simple. And on this side they have their compost bin on this side, and that's basically it. And then they have their cabinets, and these are all homemade cabinets. They're all hand-built by Alan here, and again, they're not expensive at all. So that's their little kitchen area, and they have this wonderful, they don't have a hot water heater, which is amazing. They have their water here, and again, they can in the future hook up a rain barrel to get the water to clean the dishes. But then they have this drinking water filter. It's a ceramic filter that more and more people are having now, and the water just pretty much sits in there, and the filter's in there, and then they have their drinking water. And you might ask what they do for their hot water. Well, they just have this little simple kettle here, and they just heat up the water, and if they need some warm water, they have that. And again, they have their juicer and their appliances, and right now, this is newly built, more or less, so right now they don't have any solar hooked up to it, but, you know, depending where you live, you could have either solar power or wind power hooked up to it, so you can get your electricity that way. But right now they're hooked up to the main house. And then here's their little kitchen area. And Alan built a lot of windows in the house because he loves the natural light. So they have their kitchen area, and it's very simple. Part of their kitchen actually is a little bar there where you can see my breakfast. By the way, this is the most amazing durian I just picked up. It's really good, and there's some more of my breakfast. This is, we'll talk about this later, but this is a mangosteen, also known as the queen of fruits, and the durian's the king of fruits. So we got those. But then you come here, and there's a little table. Did you build this table, Alan?
No, we picked it up in a second-hand store somewhere.
Second-hand store, okay. And then here's a little shelving system with their food here, and you can tell that they're raw foodists, which is another reason why I enjoy their company. And then you come around here, and then there's a bookcase here so there's a bookcase here, and then there's a desk here, and a little shelf. And basically, there's a lot of windows here, and it's just this small little place with a futon that folds out, a closet, and it's just very nice. And I love this touch. When I woke up, the sun came up, but I don't know if Alan carved this or not, but it's a wonderful little cane here, and it just added like almost a natural element to the window. I don't know if he did that on purpose, but I just found that really nice. And but then here's the special thing, everybody. You come into the bathroom and you think, how are they going to have plumbing in how are they going to have a bathroom with no plumbing? Well, everyone knows, well, not everyone, but a lot of you know that I'm into something called humanure, which is recycling not only our food, but also composting our waste. If you haven't looked into it, I just showed the book to everyone recently. But I was so surprised because they do that here. They have the same exact toilet system as I do. And this is a book, by the way, the Humanure Handbook. Humanure Handbook, and you can go to the website humanurehandbook.com. But this is, I'm a really big fan of this. Basically, you have the it's a wooden frame, and there's a 5-gallon bucket in there, and you cover it up with sawdust, and it's very neat, and there's absolutely no odor, and the best soil you get from recycling the waste. Well, it's only waste if you waste it, but when you don't waste it, it's recycled, and it's the cleanest and best way to conserve water, and also to replenish the soil. So there's one of theirs, and I have 2 of these that I built, and even the toilet paper is compostable. So it's just a wonderful little system they have here. And again, no water heater. There's a little storage room they have in their 380 foot square home. They have a little refrigerator here. And then the shower. Now they can build a shower again in here and just have a pipe going outside with the water going out to the garden. But instead what they do is there's another house, the main house. Just like me, they have a shower outside, pretty much, and it's hot and cold shower. They have it outside, and it's just great. So, okay, everybody, again, we want to make sure that we use our resources as wise as possible. You know, everything from our money to our natural resources and everything in between. It's not about having more. It's about if you conserve what you have, you don't need more. And it's a very wise done here, and I can tell you, I am sure that when they go out and they've got to grab their car keys, they're not looking all over the house for 20 minutes for their car keys, because they live in a nice small space here that's very simple, so that it's very easy to find and know where it is. And that's just a little example of living your life more simple, and there's so much more beyond that. But you don't really need a lot of stuff, and you know, I think one of the diseases we have in the United States, if not over the world, is dissatisfaction. We're just never satisfied. We always seem to want more and more. Well, you know, being happy with less is really what true joy is all about. All right, we're about to go out, and one more thing I just forgot to mention here. You see their wonderful kitchen, and some of you might be asking, well, where's the stove? Well, Alan and Janet are raw foodists, so they don't have a stove. So you don't need a stove if you're eating healthy. And if they wanted to get one, they could always get a hot plate or a little toaster oven. But you definitely don't need a microwave. That's poison and toxic, but you don't need a stove. And then we're coming out here. We're about to head out. And look at their wonderful sign right on top of their house. It says, Raw, Sweet, Raw. Very nice.
Nature's wealth, good for your health.